I'm saying bye to all the lies and all the times you cried saying that I wasn't right.
Hello everybody, today I would like to share with you my experience using the Photon Mono M7 Pro printer. Now I'm sure there's plenty of you debating whether or not to pick up this printer because the previous printers left a bad experience to many people, including myself. Let's talk about the features of this printer and why you should be interested in picking this up over a few others. Now it has auto adaptive technology, control heating systems. It has auto resin refill, intelligent workflow, assist printing. It also has a high precision optical system. It's a 14K printer, which means you're going to get very sharp details on all your prints. The screen is about 10.1 inches. Here's me doing a small unboxing showing you what's inside of the box. You do get some gloves, your USB, some tools, the Wi-Fi adapter, the auto refill. This would be your air purifier. Make sure you do this correctly. I'll show you later in the video. Now this might be a negative, but you do get a high-speed film for the base at the bottom. If you look closely, the vat is done completely different from any other printers that we've seen thus far. That's because it has included the heater within the vat. Interesting enough, I got this small LED light USB type of connector, and I never seen anything like this in anyone's review. I don't think it's even mentioned within the specs of what's in the box, so that's very surprising. The great thing about this printer is you can just open it out the box and get into printing without any issues. It's already auto leveled for you, so you shouldn't have any real issues. Just set up your printer, go into your settings, do what you have to do. It has Wi-Fi capabilities. The benefit with that, it allows you to transfer all your files from your PC laptop over to your printer and get into printing without any issues. Perhaps the biggest reason why you want to pick up this printer definitely has to be the speed of this printer. Other printers typically take around 9 hours to print something. The M5S Pro takes about 3 hours and 7 minutes using standard resin. This one, using standard resin, it takes 1 hour and 40 minutes. And this is something that I can verify with my files. No gripe right here, which is a negative. I don't like the back side of this printer. There seems to be like a little opening, sort of like a gap, and the bottom portion feels extremely soft, allowing any extra gases escape from the printer because of that little opening on the side and the back. It just seems a little bit too cheap, if I'm being honest. Now my experience with this printer has been very pleasant. I like how it's easy to use out of the box. I like how it has many good features, especially the heating vat. It makes a lot of good use out of the resin, especially for everybody that lives in an area where it's extremely cold. You just heat up the vat and it does its job. You guys can see right here, that's the heater implemented into the vat. And the overall settings and the UI of the printer is very good. I like how clean it is. It's not over the top complicated. The UI is clean and you know exactly where each individual setting is for whatever you're looking for. Now for the air purifier, remember you must remove the plastic. A lot of people do the mistake of simply putting in the plastic and it's not doing its job properly. If you're like me and you're curious how the heating mechanism works with this machine, well, it simply does it in a circle motion. From one end, it gets pushed onto the other. And I would like to assume that if you have cold resin laying around there or you're trying to mix any type of resin with others, it's going to do a better job at making sure all the resin is nice and warm and mixed well together without you having to constantly do it from time to time. From my personal experience, this is probably one of the best heaters that any company has implemented because it simply does its job. When talking about speed, this printer is probably one of the best ones out there, and I've done a test. So previously with my older printer, it would roughly take me around 3 hours and 30 minutes, where with this printer, it's roughly around 1 hour and 20 minutes. That's using standard resin. I'm not using the rapid resin or any fast resin. I'm assuming that would probably be around 30 minutes to 40 minutes of printing time. And when you compare that to other printers, that is extremely fast, especially if we're talking about those extremely old printers or back in the day where roughly to print anything significantly small, it would take you around 5 hours, 10 hours, 8 hours, pretty much 24 hours. This printer does everything significantly fast, and the print still looks extremely impressive. We're talking about details, and I love what this printer is able to do in terms of speed and quality. I've tested both of them, and I was comparing this to my M5 printer and some prints that I had laying around, and I must admit there is a difference between both of them in terms of quality and speed. First of all, if you look closely later on in the video, I'll be doing some comparisons. The Photon Mono M7 Pro simply has the advantage. It has more crispier details, and even more details that I couldn't see with the previous printer are more visible with this printer. Now keep in mind, that's without using the full capability of the details, meaning pushing this printer to its full limit in terms of giving the best details possible. It hasn't been done yet from my end, and already just at printing at 15 microns, 40 and 30 has already delivered such an impressive details, already outmatching the M5 printer. And I saw this in different figures. So I printed a V-Rex, I printed Godzilla 1998, and I printed a few other figures, and I definitely saw more details. And I gotta say, I was definitely impressed with what this printer is able to do with both the speed and the details and the features it has. Honestly, if you're someone new looking for a brand new printer, I highly recommend you to pick this up. It's consumer friendly, it's easy to use. If you're someone who doesn't want to struggle too much with calibrating your printer, this is it for you. It has different options. If you really want to focus on speed, go for speed. If you want to focus on delivering the best details, this is it for you. It has the best of both worlds. The quality feels great. It's a lot heavier, definitely. For the most part, I would say this is definitely a premium printer comparing it to others. Everything about it just feels very well done with highly requested features that actually work and do its job properly. Very smart. That's not to say that everything about this printer is good. There's negatives, and I've run into a few issues. I'm not sure if I'm the only one, but I've noticed when I was exporting my files from my PC onto the printer, sometimes the images wouldn't appear of what exactly I was printing. Now it's helpful because I can see the names, but I simply couldn't see the images. It has two different versions for the UI. You can definitely see your traditional 2D image, and then it has a new feature where you can see everything in 3D, and I like that. I very much do like it, but it's unfortunate that I just can't see what's being displayed with all that information. And this is probably a bug. I'm sure it's going to get fixed. The other thing that I don't like about this printer is how extremely loud it is. The fans are so loud that I can hear this across the room. But then again, it makes sense. This is a 14K resolution printer. It has a lot of features that require the fans to cool down the printer in a way or keep the printer going. And the whole heating mechanism thing is nice, but it also has its negatives. The negative part is, while it's printing, you can't automatically choose to heat up the vat while it's printing. Now this can only be done once through the menu. You have to automatically go, hover over, and choose to start heating up the resin. Now I say this is a negative because in case you're printing and you want to pour in more resin, sometimes it affects your printing quality. Sometimes it leaves lines behind because the resin is not at the right temperature. This would have been useful if there was an option for you to keep heating up the resin vat and all of that. That would have been extremely perfect. The other negative part would have to be the touchscreen. It's not the best. You have to keep on pressing multiple times in order to finally register. So it's not sensitive enough. Comparing this to other printers, they've been snappy. Well, this one simply doesn't do the job. It takes multiple tries, and sometimes you have to press extremely hard. I would have liked it if it was very sensitive, very responsive. I have my fingers crossed that all of this can be fixed through an update where it gives you the option to actually heat up the vat whenever you want to. Besides that, my experience has been very pleasant with this printer. From all the printers that I've used thus far, this probably has to be my favorite printer. I like the overall design, I like the build of it, I like the volume, and the printing quality is simply amazing. The best that I've seen in quite some time. The speed is beyond out of this world. Now the real question is, do I recommend this printer to anybody that's new or anybody that's a professional that's been printing for quite some time and is looking to upgrade? Definitely. This is a perfect printer for anybody that's new and for those who have been printing for quite some time and you're looking for that precision in terms of quality and speed. This has the best of both worlds. Now this video is not sponsored by AnyCubic. This is my honest review from my experience, and I've been doing this for 5 years. If you're looking to print miniatures, big figures, statues, this has everything for you. It's perfect, and I honestly cannot complain much besides those little complaints that I've told you guys. It's almost perfect. This really is almost a perfect printer, and it's definitely a step up from the M series that they've done in the past. The overall quality is much better. The overall build of this printer feels like a premium printer. With that being said, I hope you enjoy the rest of the video of me assembling a few figures, showcasing you a few comparisons, and hopefully this gives you a good idea if you want to purchase this printer or not. Let me know in the comments down below, and I'll be doing more comparisons in the near future.